Okay, seems we are ready. I hope you're ready too. Let me welcome you once again to the second session of the opening conference. We are going to speak now about industrial leadership, which includes the issues like more focused on innovation, more on applied research, more on involvement of industry and the SMEs. As you will see, the Commission is preparing really a lot of new instruments focusing on industry, such as public-private partnership, such as structures like European technology platforms, like SME instruments and financial measures. So we'll have really a lot of new opportunities for bridging research and innovation and preparation of new technologies, products and services. So first of all, I would like to present the panel for today. I will start with Mr. Neville Reeve from European Commission. Then we have Ingrid Janezová from the European Commission DG Research and Innovation. We have Robert Redhammer, Rector of Slovak University of Technology. And last but definitely not least, Igor Kočiš, who is the CEO of GA Drilling. So we start with introduction to the area, the second pillar called leadership in enabling and industrial technologies, and I will ask Mr. Neville Reeve to make this introduction.
Thank you very much once again. I'm going to talk about the industrial pillar of Horizon 2020. It's one of the three pillars, as you will know, because you saw my earlier brief comments on the structure. I think it's also important to begin this with a couple of words about why industry is important and also why Horizon 2020 addresses industry and innovation needs beyond the industrial pillar. It's not just about the industrial pillar. Of course, if you look at the history of the framework program, and you don't go back to the 1950s where you had, of course, European coal and steel research and nuclear research, the history of the framework program begins in the early to mid-1980s, concerns about European competitiveness, the so-called Big 12 of IT and telecoms companies at that time getting together and really pushing the agenda so that Europe would form this collaborative research initiative faced with the threat, as it was perceived at that time, particularly from Asia, from Japan. Now, clearly there was a very strong industrial involvement at that stage, but I think it's true to say that evaluations of the framework program over recent years, notably the ex-post evaluation of the sixth framework program, identified what was perceived as an issue, a concern about so-called declining industrial engagement. Now, I think you can actually debate those figures on participation, because more recent figures show, in fact, that the rate of participation isn't what it had been suggested. In fact, there is still a very strong, or reasonably strong, industry involvement. But certainly since the seventh framework program and with now Horizon 2020, we see a whole raft of different measures designed to facilitate and support industrial engagement and innovation in the framework program. Now, I'm sort of running industry and innovation together there, but I think there's an argument to do that. Let me just, aside from the industrial pillar, which I'm going to get to in a moment, mention some of those. You've already heard about the fact that the framework program, Horizon 2020, will support all sorts of innovation, not just technological innovation, but innovation, services innovation, a hugely important thing given the fact that, of course, services represent, depending where you are, 70, 80% of economies today. We have support to innovation across the cycle. So we have support to research, but also the prototyping, testing and development, which is essential for innovative activity. This is enhanced in Horizon 2020. We have the huge innovation investment package of last year, 10th of July 2013, which has 10 measures, 5 of which are the JTIs, the Innovative Medicines Initiative 2, Fuel Cells and Hydrogen 2, the Clean Skies 2, Bio-Based Industries, and also the I think it's the ECSEL components, European electronic components and European leadership. Those 5 initiatives. Then we have, for example, the open challenge-based approach of Horizon 2020. I would argue that that's extremely valuable for industry. It's not saying you must do research. In fact, it's saying, look, these are the sorts of outcomes, the impacts we're seeking. We're not so concerned about you doing research in X or Y. What we're saying is, this is what we want to get out of it. And I think that sort of message is an attractive one to industry. Simplification, the shift in the funding model. So we no longer have this raft of different types of different funding rates according to who you are. 100% for research and innovation actions, or 70% for innovation actions, plus 25% indirect costs. This is a hugely important feature. The SME activity, and I'll come to that in a moment. I think all of these add up to, if you like, a framework which you could genuinely argue are in addition to the industrial pillar. So industrial pillar is not the whole story when you talk about how favourable and friendly Horizon 2020 is to industry. So I am going to talk about the industrial pillar, though. I'm going to talk about these 3 elements, the leadership in European industrial technologies, and this is going to be brought out again by, I think, some of the other speakers, this lights part of the story, the access to risk finance, and also the support to SMEs, which is a hugely important part of the Horizon 2020 story. I'm going to go through quickly summarising some of the key elements of the Lights package. The Lights package represents something like 13.5 billion euro, a chunk of money, a big chunk of money. And it recognises simply that, as well as saying we need to connect our research with social needs, we also need to identify the critically important technologies which underpin our capacity to carry out research. So it's a sort of the horizontal or the vertical, I don't know which way you want to actually construct the matrix, but it's the other part of the matrix. So 13.5 billion. Looking first of all at the light, and you always hear these referred to as the light, on ICT, we see that this is supporting innovation across the value chain. The idea being moving quickly from research excellence to the market. And this question of the value chain is a broad one. It's looking about the research from content right the way up to information management technologies, robotics, and networking. This ICT part of the Lights, the scope of it is also to support industrial roadmaps and mechanisms to encourage disruptive innovation. There are cross-cutting topics on things like cybersecurity, research on the human-centric digital age, and the Internet of Things. I did look it up, I did read it, I understood it, but don't ask me to describe what exactly that means. There is a focus on close-to-market activities. Going further, new features of the ICT part of the Lights are key enabling technology activity on new materials and on OLED lighting, the support provided to photonics, and also a dedicated action for SMEs using the SME instrument, which I'll describe in a moment. And also the so-called new types of procurement, new types of instrument used. In fact, I should have added that at the start when I was talking about the friendly nature of Horizon 2020, particularly the innovation-friendly nature. I think this needs to be added. So, for example, there are not only the research and innovation actions, but there are also the pre-procurement and public procurement of innovation demand-side measures, extremely important there. Let's look at the second big chunk. Now, it's a big chunk because it's dealt with by the Programme Committee in this particular way, but it's perhaps rather broad to go into too much detail. So this encompasses opportunities, and of course it's going to be brought out again, if I understand, in one of the later presentations. It encompasses work on key enabling technologies in nanotech, advanced materials, biotechnologies, and it also encompasses, and again, perhaps I should have mentioned this at the start, the contractual public-private partnerships. These were started under FP7, the energy-efficient buildings, factories of the future, green car, future internet. And we see the proposal to extend these under Horizon 2020, adding to those with photonics, robotics, high-performance computing, and also SPIRE, which addresses the process industries. So within this particular context, we see three of those: factors of the future, the EEB, and the sustainable process industries. It's said that one of the aspects here is to bridge the valley of death between research and market application. Of course, you could say that actually it does in fact apply to the sort of philosophy we're arguing for the whole of Horizon 2020. The focus within this particular group of lights is dealing with, or an additional part is nanotechnology pilot lines, health and energy, new materials, and cutting-edge biotechnologies and industrial processes. Let's look now at the lights, or the light on space. There's a broad specific challenge to foster a cost-effective, competitive, and innovative space industry and research community, and that breaks down into different things. First of all, it is the competitiveness of the space sector in terms of its non-dependence on, or decreased dependence on non-EU technologies. That includes advanced space technologies, exploitation of space data, and participation in international space partnerships. Then there are the applications which are supported through this particular light under the societal challenges. You see connections between the space part of the lights and transport, climate and security. And that was an extremely important part of what we try to do with the work programs, and I'll refer to that again when I speak this afternoon about the societal challenges, to try and set it up in a way that bridges not only between the societal challenges and the lights, but also between the societal challenges themselves. We used a process of strategic programming, and we identified so-called focus areas which would help us try and find those areas of critical mass. Whoops. Some of the applications areas covered by this include navigation, including Galileo, or Earth observation, the use of space for protection, such as space weather, surveillance, tracking, and you see also a list of the possible or the uses in the context of competitiveness. That is a rather rapid run through of the lights part, 13 billion. I think I've tried to give you an essence of what the point about this is. It's about supporting these critically important technologies which underpin the types of innovation which we expect to see occurring. In terms of the new features of the space part, there is both the combination of multi-annual strategic planning as well as bottom-up approaches with the applications. And this long-term idea integrates low technology readiness levels with really supporting activities right the way down to the applications end. As well as that, we see a new approach with strategic research clusters. Now let me end that now and go on to the next part, which is access to risk finance. You could summarize it rather simply by saying plugging the gap between research and innovation and its exploitation. A rather simplified, possibly not wholly accurate way of presenting this story. Of course, what we're building on is the huge, and I'm not using that in a, hopefully in a too over-the-top fashion, the huge success with the risk-sharing finance facility under FP7, which, if you read the evaluation of this exercise, identified a 13-to-1 leverage of the funding which was actually made available based on the money which, in other words, the end point was 13 times the amount of money which was actually available through the risk-sharing finance facility. And also the measures which were available in the Competitiveness and Innovation Programme. Why are we actually doing this? Well, I think the arguments are well known. It's about the difficulty of startups actually accessing funding, the uncertainty related to research, and the difficulties that presents in terms of encouraging investors in innovative new technologies or commercial opportunities, and of course the financial crisis as well actually defined part of the backdrop in which we were operating. So where is it available? Well, it's summarized simply here. Loans for research and innovation for SMEs, mid-caps, and for large companies, research and innovation infrastructures, universities, PROs. On top of that, there is early-stage venture capital and equity for SMEs and small mid-caps, as well as equity and other forms of risk capital for the early stages of technology transfer. At least a third of the funding through the Access to Finance initiative will be available to SMEs. There are some new features also in the Access to Finance part of the work programme, and these are designed, for example, to co-finance, to work more closely with the financial services sector, to co-finance technology transfer, to support early-stage development in ICT, and you see those in the individual calls, which are available under the Access to Finance work programme. And finally, turning to SMEs. Well, with 26 million SMEs in Europe, and perhaps with the record that we haven't really properly, fully, wholly exploited the opportunity of SMEs' involvement in framework programs, we knew very well there was a big challenge to address here. Part of it was going to be solved with the way in which we address simplification. I won't repeat those measures, but you don't have to have it explained again to understand why those sorts of simplification elements, I actually include in that, of course, all of the things we mentioned this morning, like, for example, the participant portal. These are going to be extremely important for SMEs. There are several parts of the SME support which we provide. First of all, there is the innovation in SMEs part of Horizon, which is addressing specifically research-intensive SMEs through Eurostar, but also provides support services to SMEs in terms of the enterprise network and support to the national contact points. But I think the big story for Horizon 2020, I mean, I won't want to, that's probably a little unfair on the innovation SMEs part. The parallel big story is the SME instrument, which has been designed to look in a fundamental way from the bottom up about what SMEs actually need. Instead of starting from the position of saying, you are an SME, so you would like to do research and we will fund that research for you, it's saying, what are your problems? And once we've identified those problems, can we help you with supporting research which might address the innovation you're seeking to do? And finally, can we find ways in which we will also support the exploitation side of the work later on. You saw that presented this morning with the slide which Dimitri presented. I will skip this particular slide here because I've actually covered those points and go on to this SME instrument. Here it is in a conceptual sense, those three steps: the concept and feasibility assessment, the demonstration, market replication, research and development phase, and finally the commercialization phase. And here it is presented in terms of the different criteria, the actual details of what is taking place. I think no one is under any illusions that we are likely to see a huge interest in the SME instrument at the phase one step, and so that's why it says 10% success there. I expect that, various commentators have used the phrase a tsunami of applications there, given the fact that what we are looking for is a very light process, a process that will actually provide a lump sum funding of 50,000 euros to carry out the sort of feasibility risk assessment activities necessary. There will be a higher rate of success between the phase one and the phase two. So in other words, if you're successfully through this phase one, your chances of success in phase two, where there is substantial more funding, will be much greater. This is where 80% or 88% of the budget will be going. And that will support these types of activities I mentioned previously: prototyping, testing, piloting, etc., all part of the innovation profile. And finally, there is the commercialization stage, and this will provide support through networking, training, information, etc. No direct funding available at this stage. I've given you, I hope, a good, or a comprehensive at least, set of reasons why I believe Horizon 2020 is addressing the needs of industry and innovation, and also gone at a rather rapid pace through those three key parts of the industrial pillar of Horizon 2020. And I think I'll leave it at that point. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Before we continue, I would like to remind you that we have the Slido again, where you can vote for what you think, where is the biggest potential of Slovak researchers in Horizon, and you can also prepare your questions for the panelists. Now, we are going to focus on so-called key enabling technologies, which are the essential part of industrial leadership. And I would like to ask Ingrid Jenezová to present. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very sorry for this technical problem. I would like firstly to introduce myself. My name is Ingrid Jenezová. I'm Slovak, and I'm very delighted to participate at this national launch event of Horizon 2020, in particular in Slovakia. My presentation will focus on the key enabling technologies in Horizon 2020, which are supposed to continue to the European growth. In a few minutes, I will provide you with more information, or in a few seconds, if you allow me. Firstly, I would like to start, thank you very much. I would like to start with what is in Horizon 2020 different. Well, Horizon 2020 is different if we compare it to FP7 or any kind of previous framework program. There is a strong challenge-based approach, allowing the applicants to have considerable freedom to come with innovative solutions, which was not in the previous case. There is a strong emphasis on innovation with continuing support to research and innovation. The other big change is the topics are much less perspective, and we have we leave freedom to come with some more innovative ideas, and there is a strong emphasis on expected impact. What is also different in comparison to the previous framework programs is that this work program is conceived in a 2-yearly basis. the first year is the text or the wording is legally binding. The second year we have a flexibility, not 100%, but there is some small room for improving the wording for 2015 in this particular case. The focus areas brings together different technologies along the entire innovation chain, and cross-cutting issues are mainstream, such as societal sciences, gender, and international cooperation. To provide you with idea how much budget allocation is available for the industrial leadership, the overall indicative budget for the Horizon 2020 represents 77 billions. Out of it, for excellence in science is allocated 24.4 billion. The light pillar has 17 billion, and almost 30 billion goes to the societal challenges. What are the main priorities in the industrial leadership? In fact, they are focused to so-called key enabling technologies. Those are micro and nanoelectronics and photonics, nanotechnologies, advanced materials, biotechnology, advanced manufacturing and processing, and space. In this particular case, as I am covering the NMP+B work program, I am going to speak more about nanotechnologies, materials, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing, which is also a responsibility of DG Research, while micro and nanoelectronics and photonics are responsibility of our colleagues in DG Connect. The industrial leadership is meant that the key enabling technologies and partnership with industry is going to help to recover the industry from the economic crisis. There is a strong emphasis on research and innovation with a strong industrial dimension. The activities are primarily developed through relevant industrial roadmaps, which are done in cooperation with this industry, in this particular case with the European technology platforms and the public-private partnership. The involvement of the industrial participants and SMEs to maximize the expected impact is crucial, and the funded projects will be outcome-oriented, developing on key technology building blocks and bringing them closer to the market. What are the key enabling technologies? As I already mentioned, we have 6 key enabling technologies. Those are nanotechnologies, advanced materials, micro and nanoelectronics, photonics, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing. When you would like to see when you would like to learn something more, how the European key enabling strategy has been developed, I strongly recommend you to have a look at 2 Commission communications of 2009 and 2012. In addition to this one, in order to foster this field, CAT high-level group has been established, which is meeting regularly and exchanging views and also providing some input to the work program, which I'm going to mention in the later slide. So as I mentioned, there are 6 strategic technologies. They are contributing to driving competitiveness and growth opportunity. They contribute to solving societal challenges. They are knowledge and capital intensive, and they are cross-cutting in many sectors. What is the issue regarding to the key enabling technology? Europe has a strong position in science in patenting activity. EU actors are at the top of the patent ranking in each key enabling technology, but there is a huge gap between the technology base and the manufacturing base. So therefore we need to add demonstrators, competitive manufacturing, and product development to the technology. So the main message is to go from lab to industry to the market. What are the main priorities for the key enabling technologies? Technologies development and validation, aiming at the industrial deployment of key enabling technologies, strategic research agendas, roadmaps and value chains, industrial engagement, pilot and demonstrators, cross-cutting CADs. What are the cross-cutting CADs? So that means that you need to have a combination either of the key enabling technology or manufacturing, or at least 2 key enabling technologies. The budget for the key enabling technologies cost-cutting CADs represents 30%, and enabling applications in societal challenges. I like very much this picture, and therefore I included it in my presentation. Here you can see clearly how the key enabling technologies can contribute to a particular societal challenge. In this case, this picture is related to health. But I also would like to mention that the NMP is also contributing to other challenges, as for example, transport in the field of batteries for green vehicles. As I mentioned previously, there was established a high-level working group on key enabling technologies. One of the output of this working group was the definition of technology readiness levels, which are first time used in the work program. You can find a specific indication of a particular TRL in the work program, but the definition as such you are going to find in the general annexes. Therefore, I strongly recommend you, if you can read the work program or the particular work program that you are interested, but you also need to have a look in the general annexes because they include very valuable information on, for example, technology readiness levels or rules of participations. So what happened in the NMP field? In the NMP field, we went through certain development. We went through the basic research to the more applied research. In the previous framework program, the TRLs used were 1 to 4, and the last 2 years of the life of FP7, we focus more on the 5 and 6 levels, which includes pilots and demonstrators. This is something that we are going also to use or to request in the Horizon 2020 NMP work program. We already prepared the field, so in fact it's not something that we are imposing, it's something completely new. The research entities and the industry was already able to prepare under the previous program. So in the Horizon 2020 work program, the TRLs used will be something between 3 and 4 up to 7. The center of gravity will be 5 to 6. The difference is, for example, if you take into account the TRL number 7, for this kind of TRL, we are going to request a system prototype, while in the TRL level 5 to 6, we are going to request that the outcomes are vivid in the industrial relevant environment. Just to tell you that there is also a difference regarding the funding rates. Contrary to FP7, we are going to have 2 funding schemes. So that means the research and innovation actions will be funded 100%. The innovation actions will be funded 70%. There is a big difference that the non-profit participants can apply 100% of funding, which was not in the previous cases. So for example, if you have in the innovation action a university or a non-profit organization, this, in the consortia, these entities can claim up to 100% of funding. My colleague already mentioned the public-partner partnership. Our work program is divided, let's call it, into 50-50. What does it mean? 50% of the NMP work program is so-called classical NMP research, and the other part is the public-partner private-ships. Also, the budget allocation is split more or less 50-50, so that means 200 million for the classical NMP research and 200 for the public-private partnership. Of course, some financial resources are also reserved for accompanying measures, studies, ERA-nets, and so on. So, in the private partnerships, the industry plays a leading role in defining research priorities. The predefined budget ensures the continuity and commitment, because also the industry has a commitment from the Commission that there will be some financial resources available. At the end of December 2013, the College of the European Commission approved the Commission proposal for the Memoranda of Understandings to be signed between the European Commission and the PPPs. In fact, what does it mean? This Memoranda of Understanding provides for funding for 7 years. That means for the life of the Horizon 2020. The budget allocations are specified on the yearly basis, and there are also some kind of sunset clauses and so on. With this approach, we also provide the security to the industry to go on with the projects, ideas, and so on. So the PPPs are also focused on enabling industrial technologies. They have increased use of SME-friendly instruments and demonstration. The roadmaps are prepared with the stakeholders' involvement and public consultations. Of course, the program committee is duly consulted via the comitology procedure. The concrete technological and sector-related objectives, its commitment from the industry to reach them and to provide the necessary research and innovation investment, and they are fully transparent and open calls under the Horizon 2020. My colleague already spoke about the industrial investment package, which was approved on 10 of July 2013. He already mentioned the GTIs, PPPs, and P2Ps, so there is no need that I enter again into this kind of a description. Nevertheless, what is relevant to the NMP-B sector are the factories of the futures, energy efficient buildings, sustainable process industry, which is new to this work program. And also we contribute to the European Green Vehicles Initiative, as I already mentioned, with, for example, the batteries for the green vehicles. So in our work program, we cover those 4 PPPs. Regarding the SMEs, in the Horizon 2020 there was a strong requirement of the European Parliament to encourage further the SMEs. It is well known and understood that the NMP work program is a champion in including the SMEs in the participation. Nevertheless, a separate SME instrument has been created. So this provides for an integrated approach, simplification. It's a completely new instrument. It's a dedicated activity to research-intensive SMEs in innovation and SMEs, and also provides access to risk finance. So in our particular case, the NMP-B team provides for 5% of the total budget allocation in the first 2 years of the life of the program. Totally overall, it will represent 7% of the budget allocation. This does not mean that the SMEs are not going to continue to be involved in the rest of the work program. My colleague already explained you the risk financing Horizon 2020, so I prefer to skip and to speak about the topics which we have in the NMP work program. So the nanotechnologies, advanced materials, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing and processing. What is also new this year to our work program is that the biotechnology key enabling technology has been added from the societal challenge to our pillar. On the contrary, the classical biotechnology is going to continue to be covered by the societal challenge. So this the website is very easy to finance, it's very user-friendly. So if you go to the participant portal, you just go to the industrial leadership and you will have all the information available, including the specific text of the work program, and also you will have accessible the general annexes, which I already mentioned are very important that you know. So the work program topics, the structure reflects the challenge-based approach, and there are 3 key features: the specific challenge, scope, and expected impact. The specific challenge sets the context problem to be addressed, why intervention is necessary, delineates the problem, specifies the focus and the boundaries of the potential action, but without overly describing specific approaches. The expected impact describes the key elements of what is expected to be achieved in relation to the specific challenge. Just to point out that when the evaluation criteria are based on the excellence, impact, quality of efficiency in implementation. So also contrary to the previous framework program, the excellence and impact is on the equal footage. We have several calls in the NMP-B work program. The first one is the call for nanotechnology, advanced materials and production. Just probably firstly to provide you a general comment, we will continue to evaluate the project proposals in 2-step evaluations. So that means that the PPPs, CSAs, ERANETs are going to have 1-stage evaluation. There is also one exception to the pilot lines. And the rest of the classical NMP-B part is going to be evaluated in a 2-stage evaluation procedure. So this call, nanotechnology, advanced materials and production, is intended to bridging the gap between the nanotechnology research and markets. It addresses 3 key of the European nano-enabled industrial value chains: lightweight multifunctional materials and sustainable composites, structured surfaces, functional fluids. The SMEs, again, are very much invited to participate, and the expected activities are deployment and market introduction by scaling up the lab experience to industrial scale, and by demonstrating viability of variety of manufacturing and technology. You need to understand that in this call, there is also the pilot lines for the nano pilot lines, so-called, are included. So I strongly recommend you that whomever is interested in this kind of call to read very carefully the specific evaluation sub-criteria. Because in fact, this is essential to succeed in a project proposal. The second call is for nanotechnology, advanced materials, and production. The main aim is to have more efficient nanotechnologies and advanced materials for healthcare. The three key points are to support more effective therapies in healthcare and important diseases. The required development is to reach a point where we can consider fit for purpose of preparation of, but not including clinical trial stages. Gender issues is very important. Technologies and innovation should suit both women and men, so no discrimination. The third call is the nanotechnology, advanced materials and production, which intends to nanotechnology and advanced materials for low carbon energy technologies and energy efficiency, support EU objectives to include use of renewable sources and improve energy efficiency, to demonstrate technology readiness for further take-up by societal challenge, contributions to materials roadmap enabling low carbon energy technologies, and time to market should be assessed with a view of contributing to EU 2020 targets. The fourth call for nanotechnology, advanced materials and production is intending to exploit the cross-sectorial potential in nanotechnologies and advanced materials to drive competitiveness and sustainability by boosting European industry competitiveness and contributing to a sustainable economy, enabling multi-sectorial potential by developing and advancing technological readiness of solutions with a breakthrough potential. International cooperation in this particular call is very appropriate. The next call is intended for safety of nanotechnology-based applications and support for development of the regulation, risk management to become integral part of the supply chain. All projects should align with the EU Nano Safety Cluster and other international activities. In this regard, this call is very much suitable for the international cooperation in order to engage the leading countries in the nanotechnology, notably US, Canada, Japan, Korea, Brazil, and China. The responsible governments determining for the future impact in nanotechnologies on society and economy as a key support is very important as well.
Excuse me, if I may ask you to conclude, because we are running out of time.
Okay, I will make it shorter. So there are some other calls which you can see, the different deadlines, the different topics, the different intentions, the different scope, and the different expected impact. So when you go through the work program, you can in fact have an overall picture. Just one last call is the biotechnology, is intended for synthetic biology, bioinformatics, and appropriate measures to facilitate effective transfer and implementation into new applications. For us, for our program, is also something new, because before it was, as I already mentioned, with the societal challenge. Factories of the futures, it is of our direct responsibility in our work program, the FOS, factories of the futures, energy efficient buildings, and the sustainable process industries. You can see what are the specific goals. The presentation is the disposal, and I think it's very useful when you just go through the specific goals, because in fact, at the end of the day, this is what you should be interested in. Whenever you need more information, you are very welcome to visit our Horizon 2020 website, the participant portal, and I think that also you should very much use the new established liaison office that you have in Brussels. You have also national contact points. You have also delegates in different program committee configurations, which could be a lot of help, because in fact they help to create the particular wording of the work programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And as we are talking about innovation, it's very important to make bridges between research and innovation. And I'm very glad we have Robert Redhammer, rector of the Slovak University of Technology, who will tell you about the potential of university-industry cooperation.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, let me speak a little bit about the current situation and preparation for the cooperation of the universities and the public research organization with the industry, and of course with certain aspects of the topics which are discussing in this panel. I would like to mention, just introduce Slovak universities, and then we will go further, what we've done in this period and what we can do the next period. I will try to give also some positive examples. First of all, I will speak only just in the key features, not everything. This is the scale of the scientific outputs measured in or appeared in a recognized scientific journal in the globally, so in the internationally. Slovak Academy of Sciences, the number 7,700, this means the number of papers published in the the high quality journal, scientific journals. Then you can see other universities. What is more important, that the other numbers says that the quality of the journals is good. The first one fourth of the papers appeared in the top journals. What is missing is the top leading journals, the top 10, 1/10 of the journals. There is a less representation than 1/10 of the publications from Slovak Republic. So we do not have the global leaders so much, but we do have quite high quality research. We do have quite low impact, so this is not positive. And and there is a quite large asymmetry geographically, that the quite big portion is coming from Bratislava and less from other part of Slovakia. Another feature, universities, especially those oriented to technology, but also the other universities, are oriented to the needs of industry or needs of society. They are combining education with research, and they are pushing students to the topics that are interesting for the industry or for society. This is one of the examples, but also other universities have some activities in supporting of startups and SMEs. Slovak University of Technology supported to create and grow more than 40 SMEs, small companies starting from scratch. In previous period, which is not finished yet because it's running up to the 2015, we've reached, these are the numbers of projects in FP7. You can see the colors are topics, and the numbers inside are number of projects in FP7. The largest number is in Bratislava, not always the universities. 1/3 of all these projects are projects running by companies. 1/3 is running by Slovak Academy of Sciences, and 1/3 roughly is running by universities. Another key center is the city Košice and the university there. This is the geographical distribution, which is not good. We have to go outside Bratislava and support also other regions. What was the strategy in the current or the finishing period? In 2007, there was a clear evidence that there is a very low participation in FP6, but also that there is even less financial effect for Slovakia. So the participation usually is in very tiny in amount of money getting to participants from Slovakia. And the reason was what was that time recognized, that the research groups has not sufficient infrastructure, the equipments and all this stuff around. So we need to invest to the infrastructure, to the equipments, to the space, and also to the people. So there was a running investment in this respect from the structural funds, which was also possible to program, and in 2007 it was started. Up to now it's not finished. Now we are running the last project, which is probably the last half of the budget for the structural funds. But there appears another negative feature, and that was a very reduced frequency of attempts from Slovakia to join the FP7 project. So suddenly, since call 4, I remember, the participation from Slovakia fell down by 20 times. So we suddenly has a very small number of attempts to go to the FP7 projects. And this was given just because of the administration with other projects, with the structure of funds. But we managed from that time, we learned how to manage it, and now I think we run it much better, and special people are dealing with the administration, and the scientists could do more science now. So we are recovering back, and I hope Horizon will be much better in a number of participations from Slovakia than it was FP7. The infrastructure, the investment was done in sequence of different calls. First calls within the structural funds period was the so-called centers of excellence. That was somehow 64 or so centers of excellence. Initially, the project in amount of 2 million euro and so. Next, there have been maybe 50 projects focused, or the primary benefit was the company, have been the companies, but there was a precondition to cooperate with public research organization, and there have been also vice versa, opposite direct cooperation projects. The last project have been the University Science Park, which are implemented now, and you can see the next step always was less projects selected from all these competitors. Now we can see that the investment in infrastructure helped to join the FP7 projects and the consortia, and was a precondition of several successful projects in FP7. The second benefit was that there was a clear crystallization of themes which are strong in research, in public research organization in Slovakia, and they are basically in material science, including nano, production, environment, biomedicine, biotechnology and medical science, and information and communication technologies. You can see also the projects and the colors and distribution across the country. One of successful story was the Duravut project FP7, which was in fact the key technologies have been developed in Slovakia, but there have been several partners from all around Europe, and the key thing is that there have been industrial partners in this project. So in fact we've developed technology for industry in Europe. Other cooperation examples. IntelliSys is one of the competence centers created with the structural funds in this period. And there is a lot of partners. There is some like 12 other partners. Half of them are companies, even more than half of them. And there is a lot of other projects and partnership network to this competence center. The center is oriented to information and communication technologies, system and services. So this is an example. The blue color are projects of FP7. So these are over-connected. This is complementary financed, not the same thing, but the progressive development of different kind of technologies, systems, services. Here are other examples of FP7 cooperation examples. In materials, Durawood I mentioned already. BioNextGen, there is 7 industrial partners from out 17 total partners. Morgan is another one, 9 industrial partners, 24 total. Good cooperation not only with universities but also Slovak Academy of Sciences and the foreign partners. These are in ICT, SMEC, the ENIAC, European Technology Platform, and joint action afterwards. In co-design, hardware, software co-design, then hybrid broadcasting, broadband system, all are mixed industrial and university or research organization clusters. Nowadays there is a run for research centers that global companies are creating in Slovakia. What I know, there is only few of them listed here. All of them are cooperating with industry, with the universities and the Slovak Academy of Sciences. So hopefully this will be some keystone for larger research centers internationally recognized in Slovakia, driven by industry. Priority ahead. Here you can see the left. There are topics from Horizon, the industrial leadership themes, and right, this is the topical puzzle. Here in Bratislava you can see very good overlap, the ICT, but also nanomaterials, biotechnology and bio and life sciences. So this is very good. So I am sure and I'm hoping that our ability to join the Horizon will be very good. This is a picture to the Mlynska Dolina. We would like to build there science park, but also in technology park. There is more than 10,000 students and more than 1,500 researchers oriented to ICT, natural sciences, physics, mathematics, energy, electrical engineering, and so on. This might be one of the key space. So we are now under investment into the infrastructure, both the equipments, also the space. We have built there one building. Now there will be another building. All buildings will be refurbished, but the most important is the human capital, what is there, and the equipment which is refurbishing. So I think there is a good potential. The similar projects are running in Košice, similar projects are running in Žilina. So I think maybe also in other cities. I know about Nitra and Trnava. So I am pretty sure that we have a good chance to jump to the train and to be better, the Slovakia as a country, to have a better representation in Horizon with the European research area than it was in past period. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rector. And now we are moving to the industry, and I'm really glad that we have Igor Kočiš from GA Drilling, one of the leader companies also in participation in framework program. So please, floor is yours.
So, good morning, gentlemen. And when I was invited to this conference, I was thinking what to present exactly as a SME in Slovakia, because I was looking to the internet and SME and Horizon, and there were thousands of slides, and they were same or similar. So I will not concentrate on the things that that is an offer from Brussels or from European Union to Slovakian and generally to the SMEs in Europe, but I will more concentrate to the problems of SMEs that are not only in Slovakia but generally in Europe, and how can Horizon be helpful in this for these SMEs, and which parts of the problems can Horizon solve for these companies. First of all, if you look to the SME that want to be innovative, technology-oriented, and bring something new to the global market, that is very important to say that if we are dealing with technologies, that it is not a competition here in Slovakia, but also it is not a competition in Europe. We are competing in a global scale. We are competing with US companies, with the companies from China and from these territories. And if we look to the maybe only to the public schemes that are supporting these activities in US or in Far East, then we see much higher flexibility in contrast to the current or till now existing schemes that are in Europe. And I'm not only shrinking my view on the Horizon or FP7, but talking also about the national funds and structural funds that are, I think, quite crucial part of the financing of the R&D in Slovakia. So basically, what we have to have in a SME, in a company for a success, first of all, we have to have some great idea. We should be able to offer something new, something novel to the market, to the world that is interesting, and we can get some attraction on that to make some product or service and then to be able to successfully sell it and compete. So that's the fundamental key issue. Bingo, we have it. The second thing, we have to have some team around. The best thing is if the team is a little bit senior, there is some history or cooperation. But then there are some questions. What to do next? So first of all, we have to have in such SME to be successful, we have to have some capital, because currently it's very hard to do something without capital. Here the Horizon can be helpful. It's this part of this public money, but also what is important to stress, if we have an SME, there is a very important step to have also at least some co-financing or some partners from the industry that can be helpful in a private financing, because these public funds can be very helpful, but not in all things that is needed by the SME, like operations and the other things that are related to the public funds. Second thing, what is needed to be able to bring the technology to life is some knowledge, expertise, mostly from the experienced industrial companies that have a lot of successes and failures. And if you are able to know it and to incorporate it into your strategy, that's something what is very beneficial in a way to success. The third thing is the cooperation. Again, here Horizon can get together people, can get together in using different platforms or programs, the people that are coming from the same industry, from research, from the SMEs, from the public bodies or regulators. So you are able to get to the right people and get to the important information that is very hard to access sometimes. And that's another part. If you have some idea and you are working on some high tech, usually you need to have some infrastructure to be able to work on it. And sometimes it's very hard to get it in-house in an SME. So it's again some important added value that we can expect, not only from Horizon, but also from the other public grants or public schemes, that these SMEs can have the easier access to the high-tech infrastructure. And last but not least is to have from a beginning, or at least in some part or in stage of the development, to have involved customers, end users in the projects. Because a lot of projects, mostly in FP5, FP6, it was the big problem. They were successful as a projects, but the result was not used by the industry. And it is sometimes, and we just had some connection to such projects, the projects were finished with successful technology. But they said, yeah, but we don't have currently some user that can use the outcomes of the projects. And to start at this point is late, because as I said, we are competing on the market. And sometimes if you look to the States or to the Far East, you finish some project that lasts 3 years and something similar is on shelf in China. So that's confusing, of course. So if you are not doing it from a beginning, you have a big problem inside a project. And of course, as you finish everything, you are successful, then it's the need that your project, your technology, your company is visible, that the world around will know that you exist and you are bringing some new value for them. So that's again some of the opportunity of the FP7 and now Horizon to be part of some platforms or some associations where you can easily disseminate the results of your work and you can be much more visible for the world. So that's basically what I think are some needs of the SMEs and can be answered by some programs that were presented also by my predecessors. One mentioned thing was here, this value of that. Usually if we are in some technology development, and mostly if we are talking about high-techs from the nanotechnology or special advanced materials, it is not the case that you have finished everything in 1 year or half a year. It is not run for 100 meters. Who want to have the very quick results and to have also funding from Horizon and want to have it within several months, it is a wrong address. We have to say that the work with the Horizon and for these long-term research activities, it is a marathon. It is not for months, it is for years even. So you should start much sooner, you should have some clear vision, and then you can go this way. And the big problem is the middle, is this value of that. If you have something on the university or private research, some results, then you have a lot of not only financial but also human and other resources to be able to bring it to life, this technology. And exactly programs like previous FP7 or Horizon can help you to overcome these gaps that are, and these gaps are quite complex. Horizon, what it is for SMEs and for Slovakian companies. I want to start with this. This is not something that is, I think, good for start as a Slovakian SME. So we have to say we are European SME and we are cooperate and compete not here among ourselves. We are competing with a completely different scale with European companies, and if we have some courage and vision, we don't have to look on such numbers that are, I think it's a shame for Slovakia from many reasons. We know it, and I think a lot of conferences are about this topic, where we are. So I will throw it away. What is important, as I mentioned, we are in Europe, so everybody has the same chance, almost, in practical life. What do you need to do to have the same chance and to have access to the same sources? You should bring some idea, some competitive idea that will raise the interest of the big experienced partners in Europe. If you want to have successful project, you have to get together the important, big, well-known, credible organizations that are for the Brussels, for the evaluators, credible, and they are able to say, yes, this project has some success or chance to have some success. Of course, in the project, you should include not only these big industrial companies or well-known some research centers, but also to have this mosaic of the different participants that are or can be helpful in a project for many reasons, not only to meet some criteria of the Horizon like geography and so on. And the result, what is that you should make your vision and your SME, your company, bigger than it is. Because with the help of these big partners, you are able to create something what is more just as some small project or initial idea. Just to look for these slides that were presented from different view. Again, each company that has a chance to find its topics among these key enabling technologies is happy or can be happy and has a chance to participate in this Horizon 2020 activities and calls. Usually, and also in case of my company, where we are active in a drilling industry to develop and bring the completely new drilling technology for a deep drilling, deep wells for several segments, you don't see such field here. But it's a mistake to say that, yes, I didn't find it here, so I will not use it. Because partially and in the current world, most of the research and development is very interdisciplinary. You have to solve many things. For example, in our case, we have approximately 1/3 of the researchers and engineers in company from material science and advanced materials. Then we have a lot of activities that are headed to the energy or to partially to some nanotechnology. So we are looking for the different parts of the horizon, what can be helpful for us, and where are some activities we can find some overlap. And if you find it, you can actively approach these activities or projects. Here, just I want to mention on the slides that was already presented, what I was quite glad that is here, is some more structuralized approach to the technology readiness level. It is also used by our industry partners for several years, so it is quite easy way how you can easier communicate your technology to the partners. Where you are, if you are in a stage at the beginning or you are somewhere in the middle, it is very important for partners, for industrial partners that want to co-finance and want to enter your development to know what is the intensity and what is also their feeling and view of your technology. So, of course, as the number is bigger, then the better, because the interest of the industry is rising. But exactly Horizon, what is helpful, and for SMEs, in the first stage, just to get together the project, and without need of, or without losing the equity in a company, because otherwise you should go for some private money and private investment. It is very hard in these times to get for the initial R&D some private money or the size of the private money, then it can be helpful. But also is very helpful through the valley of debt, as it was called, this second stage, the pilot line or the projects that are demonstration project and can bring you some added value and additional financing to present your outcomes of the research to the industry and to the market. Because then you can get their attention and step by step to be backed up by the industry, what is important. Here these slides are just commenting this, that these are some steps, and as we are looking to the tools that you can use, my also personal expectation is what we can expect from demonstration projects, because that's something that can be useful, but till now we were not able to find something there that can be useful practically for Slovakian SME. Just short picture about the expectation of the simplification of things in Horizon. I think here in Slovakia to discuss about the simplicity of the public grants is quite a crazy discussion, because here as we look to the FP7 and those you are participating in structural funds, I think you are quite happy with that. So that's a different view from the industry. If you look for the industrial project, like for example we as a company, we have some private project now with the industrial partners, and compare it also with FP7 with timings or with the paperwork you have to do, it's big gap. And it is the feeling, or here in Slovakia, we are, this feeling about the happiness with the FP7 is, I think, not very healthy, because we are now, in our minds, is completely different, and I can say not working scheme that we call structural projects, or the funds that are coming from the structural funds. Here, again, a big expectation from the scheme is the financing of the risk activities in the SMEs. Almost 4% of the budget should be for this area. My question again is that as we are, and we have some project, we have to pre-finance it, and we have to bring the loan or get the loans from the banks as a standard company. We have to use our friends, fools and fellows to finance all these things, and it's a very big burden on our company. And I was still looking for some bank loans or guarantees that I can get from such programs. We are not able to fit anywhere. So again, my expectation is if it can be helpful for the companies, like for example ours, to use such loans to overcome these problems and to get the grants or the loans from the banks that can finance all the projects. Where to go to get some projects and to be successful? I think there are a lot of abbreviations here in the Horizon, and mostly the small SMEs, I think they are very confused from that because they don't understand these schemes. You should have some specialists and so on and so on. It is additional energy and time you have to spend. But mostly what I recommend are the European technology platforms. These are the bodies that are working in the most of the environments on the fields of the technology, and you can find what is mostly typical for your kind of business and to go there, not to sit in Bratislava, but to go to Brussels, to go to the places when it happens, to meet the people and to discuss with them. Here I bring some example just quite new from my company. And it is something I want to demonstrate. It takes some years to bring your idea or your vision and to be successful, also not only to influence and to create the consortium, but also to influence the call and to have the call. So we are quite happy. We returned last week from Brussels. We started just to have some vision of that, what we did. In 2008, we raised the idea about the deep drilling and new technology, and we were co-founders of the technology platform that was oriented for the renewable heating and cooling and geothermal activities, and there were no activity for the deep drilling. It takes for us approximately 3 years to communicate it with the partners, to participate regularly on the meetings, and to be able to influence a strategic research agenda document. And there at this point, we were able to lobby and to integrate our vision. There were several just sentences into the vision. And then the platform was dealing with the Brussels, with the FP7 Horizon people, and they were able to introduce this agenda into the calls. And what I was happy now at the end of the last year, the first call ever in what I was participating some 6-7 years in this FP7 Horizon activities was introduced. And now, what was great last week in the platform was created consortium, when is also our leadership for this deep drilling with the all decisive partners in the technology. So, of course, it is not 100% probability that we will success, but we can significantly increase this average success ratio of 15-20%, what is, to maybe some 40-50%. And if you make 2-3 such approaches, then you have very big chance that you will be supported by this. Just I mentioned this issue, and I think it's a shame for Slovakia that we have here, as we started FP5, FP7, it was the big problem about the infrastructure, about the possibility to participate for Slovakian participants on the same basis and competitive basis with the European top institutes. And we have a lot of funds from structural a lot of projects from structural funds, but here I don't see, unfortunately, any coherence between national policy in this and the Horizon. Opposite, sometimes when we have some in our company some audits or meetings with the people, there is big issue, some multi-use or use of our infrastructure for FP7 activities and so on. So I think here is big, I said, challenge, and a big challenge for a Slovakian ministry and institutes and agencies, what to do with that. Because we should find the synergy, how to help and to make easier life for Slovakian participants that have already some structural funds, what is absolutely great opportunity. But it is our responsibility how we will make it every day. So finally, maybe again some very practical showcase of our company, how we use this also FP7, it will be Horizon now, or structural funds in our life cycle, what is typical life cycle of the technology company. Now we are somewhere in the middle of valley of death, so I hopefully will be here in 1-2 years also, that we will be still alive. But here at the beginning we started with the idea with the FP7 project. It was absolutely crucial for us first year to have it, to be able to finance our first initial work. Then we were able, according to the quality we get and some experience, to get some structural funds to co-finance and pre-finance and refinance our infrastructure that is needed. We built the laboratories, we were able to invite the partners from the European Union, and then together we create bigger consortium, and we were able then to apply for the bigger grant from the FP7, and we were successful. So now again we have quite big expectation from Horizon, as we have now, I think, quite good work or homework done to be able to cross this valley of debt also with the help of Horizon. So my last slide is what is needed for Slovakian entrepreneurs and people that want to do something as a spin-off from university, or they have some great idea and it is complicated. It's not some .com or some internet thing that in 2-3 months I have something finished, but it is sometimes the work for many years. First of all, you have to bring this idea to life and to be able to clearly communicate this idea. Second, if I have any budget, flexible budget, and I was in some, and I have the right to distribute it between or among Slovak innovative SMEs, I will, on the first place, invest into the travel. You should, and all the people that want to have something, have to go to Brussels, go to platforms, meet the people, discuss it. That's crucial. From here, from Bratislava, we are not able to win any project from Horizon. It means when you are travel, you should network with the people. You should know them, you should attract them, and get them on board. And the last, what is most important, we have to have some courage to go and durability for that, because it takes years. It is not around for some days or weeks. So you should think not only what is needed today, but also to go and to attract these mostly big industrial partners, what you can bring them when the project will be at the end. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We have still some 15 minutes for questions and answers, so we start with Slido. The first one currently is probably a question to Igor. What type of support do innovative SME need the most?
Thank you. I can answer in two ways. One thing is maybe the bigger company, and one thing, what was our case several years ago, where we were pure startup and you don't have some additional funds. So what I think the support would be, and it was already in, I think, FP6, was the participation on or financing of the, not of the successful projects, but financing of the applications and the teams that are working on the applications. Means not only that you can refinance the travel, as I mentioned, but refinance also some work that is behind it. Like if we are able to support, we have a lot of structural funds or other sources. Don't care now about the some paperwork, what is needed to be done with that, but to be able to support the innovative companies with the initial great idea, just with size of several thousands of euro per year, can be very helpful, because if you need to develop your SME from scratch, it's a lot of work, a lot of energy. You are working during the weekends, and to apply for some project from Horizon, it takes a lot of time and travel. So help in this way to the new startups is absolutely great. And it is, I think, not working still something in that way. The second, if you are a bigger company, then it is more about the information and the ability to present the credible background of the company. So it is the need to make some coherence between national programs that also we as a company, we have several sources like structural funds, the agencies, how we can use and present the results of this project and positively use it. Not like was presented by my predecessor, that we have now in FP7 lower participation as a FP6, because we have people that have have the big overheads with the project running, with the local projects, and they are not able to participate in the big projects, so European projects. So here it is the challenge, as I mentioned, for the mostly Slovakian bodies, how to make it easier for the next period.
Thank you very much for your comments on this. Then we have a question about access to risk finance. Is it going to be administered and funded by the European Commission, or is there a need for national agreement or contracts? It's probably.
I'm probably not able to fully answer this question. Our role is to work with the European Investment Bank, where there is a direct funding, if I understand correctly, via them, and then with the European Investment Fund, which support banks, and then the relationship is directly or through those banks. So our position is using the Horizon funding to leverage the actions of others. I don't believe, and I could be wrong here, that we are the providers of that funding directly. Although in my presentation I also did give details of calls for proposals, which is a different kettle of fish, sorry to use an English expression, but a different thing entirely, and that work of course would be funded directly by us.
Thank you very much. And the final question for now from Slido is what are the biggest weaknesses of Slovak research and innovation in industrial technologies? Probably for Mr. Professor Edhammer and Mr. Kocsis, if you could comment on that.
May you repeat the key part of the question?
Yes, what are the biggest weaknesses of Slovak research and innovation in this particular area of industrial technologies?
In industrial technologies, it's a question, what do you mean? If what we feel, there is a gap between research and the development of concrete technology for the companies. So there is a gap between industrial needs and the research. We have, in certain extent, we have in a certain quality and activity the research itself in the academia and in the universities. But we need to support the cooperation with industry and the development, the phase of innovation inside the industry or very close to the industry. There is a gap. One have to say there is a different approach in industry, classical, I would say, and for example, ICT. ICT has a different processes. It is much faster to innovate and to also to penetrate to the global market than in classical industry. When you are manufacturing something, so there is always some difficulties, more difficulties. And even more difficulty is in the medical science, where you have to go through many tests and many procedures. So probably that's the weakness.
I fully agree with the words, and we feel it as a SME in the industrial technology because this gap, what is mentioned in the European Union, is I think several times bigger in Slovakia, and I think again it's completely different question how to attract private investors and private money from the industrial companies in Slovakia to R&D. If you look to the general R&D numbers, this public sector is very bad. But as you look for the private, it's even worse. So if you look for the countries that are successful on that, they have some specialized programs like tax incentives and the other things that as you invest mostly for the foreign companies that are coming, there are some offset programs or the things that can be helpful to make it easier for local innovative companies or universities to get a support from such big, for example, energy companies and the others. Because for them, the participation in the R&D projects or what is behind that, I can say is mostly marketing things that I want to support something in Slovakia. But it is not something clearly that I want to develop some completely new technology in Slovakia and I want to invest a lot of money into that and help to the companies. There are only several maybe examples on that, But mostly, if we compare it, for example, in programs in the UK or in Brazil or in countries where it works, such kind of programs, it is very successful. I haven't seen something similar in our country, unfortunately.
Thank you very much. I think we have answered all questions from Slido. And now the floor is open to your question. Okay, everybody's hungry and waiting for lunch break. So we conclude now this session. I would like to thank you very much for all the speakers and for your attention. And now there will be a lunch break, and we will meet again at 2 p.m. with a plenary session. Thank you very much.